movie. You heard? I don't know why I said you heard like that. That was unnecessary of me. All right, come on, back up, back up. So we went through that. Talked about that. We'll back to last. But this also does bring me back to the point that was brought up earlier, which when we talked about um original films, like, and just why do these companies continue to basically exploit IPs and not make original movies? And a lot of it is just straight up fear, right? It is 100% fear because you are investing money into things, and you don't know if you will get that return. So shout out to Variety, you guys have been holding me down today. Y'all have been good. One thing that has come out is the fact. So I thought she was singing in Spanish. Um, they want to do a Clueless sequel. Why do they want to do a Clueless sequel? I don't know. Clueless is legendary. It's an amazing movie. It is a cult classic. A little problematic. In hindsight, I was young when I watched it. Um, but there were some things in there that's like, whoa, once you're older. We don't need a Clueless sequel. And it's a sequel series. So it's currently in development. There's no details. It's being kept in a wrap. And I don't know why. This is a whole new Clueless series than one that had been set up at Peacock. Okay, so they tried this before. That show with a completely different creative team was described as more of a mystery series, and Cher disappeared and focused instead on her best friend Dion. So they tried to go. So it sounds like they tried to go more. This sounds like a carbon copy of Archie, the series on CW, which again didn't need to be called Archie. Like I know Archie has like very multiple variations and like its own multiverse or whatever, but that could have just been its own show. But again, IP exploitation, right? The name brand thing. It's really stupid. So this is not the first time who's proud to roll a share in the past few years. The Super Bowl ad, whatever. I I'm not excited. Like, how would you even make a Clueless sequel? Because the thing about Clueless that makes it iconic is that it's so quintessentially 90s. Like it is a 90s film in the 90s with 90s like attire, talk, everything about it is so 90s that if you try to go back and recreate that, it doesn't work. Like that 90s show tried it. Did people really find that, to be the thing they wanted to watch? Like, again, this is no very disrespect to the people who are actually working on the shows. There's so many creative people, so many great actors, producers, directors, whoever who work on this stuff. But like the concept and the green lighting of it just doesn't make sense to me, to be honest. Um, and I don't, I genuinely don't understand why we can't just throw more original, right? Like you see Severance original, right? Or the original to an extent. If Apple TV actually marketed itself, there'd be so many opportunities to show how really resonant. And I'm not an Apple fan, by the way. I'm an Android user. I despise Apple. However, even I recognize that their TV shows are damn good. If they advertise them more, they'd probably be king of the top, king of the streaming platforms in terms of original content and actually original content, not what Netflix does, which they buy the rights to distribute something and then put Netflix on top of it. But that's to be discussed later. Um, I don't understand why we need to go and remake some things. Like it is fuck. Sorry, some sound like it scraped my ceiling. Um, I generally don't understand why that is. Or at least, how do we change that? So I know why that is, but how do we change it, right? Um, because we just saw a movie that nobody wanted to take a chance on because of the ownership rights piece of it. go on to make 60 million worldwide in its first weekend, the first weekend, right? And it's building hype. So not only what has it done 16 million so far, it is building hype. More people are talking about it. It's going to get nomination buzz, right? It's going to get talked about because of the ownership structure in terms of like the film industry. So people are going to be interested in hearing about it and seeing about it from that perspective. Again, it's Ryan Coogler and Michael B. Jordan. Those are namestays in like in America, no matter your culture, no matter your race, you know Ryan Coogler and or Michael B. Jordan at this point. So you're also going to be interested from that section. Um, which kind of got me to like, and I wish this was one thing. I had this saved up and I was gonna talk about it, and I could share the TLDR too. But it basically this entire post that this person wrote, and I don't know why they deleted it, also why their account got deleted, was basically that I gotta take this out to explain this one. Was basically that as a writer, right? She was like, "Hey, I spoke to somebody, like an executive or insider or somebody who's kind of responsible for making decisions, yada yada yada." And basically, what they told her um, was that executives basically look at what's trended and how those numbers look, right? So if you come up to them with a movie about let's say a monkey that wears a yellow coat, right? Okay, that's cute. But if somebody came out with a movie that was similar to that in the past like 2 to 3 years, 5 years maybe, and it flopped, they're gonna be like, no, I don't know, right? Or if somebody came out with a similar movie and it did well, they'd be like, oh yeah, okay, because Hollywood is monkey see, monkey do from like a green light executive perspective, right? They only want to go with known quantities or things they know that work because they're constantly afraid of losing money. And then the part that kills me though is they do that and then they still lose money anyway, because nobody wants to see unoriginal content, right? Like, why did Disney do a great thing? They came out with the MCU, people loved it. DC, why do you need your own universe? It made a little bit more sense for you, but you did terribly, right? Why do you need your own universe? Warner Brothers, why do you need a monsters universe, right? Everybody doesn't need a universe. Everybody doesn't need to copy each other, right? Find the thing that works, be a game changer because you need palate cleansers as well. So I don't know why these executives don't understand that to date. That like occasionally, yes, you will have to take that risk. You will have to bite something that might be lesser known. Maybe can you see if you can make it for a smaller budget, like the A24 model, right? So they have big tent poles, $100 million projects, and they have like projects that range from a few 100,000 to like 10 million, and they get made and they do very very well, and they get picked up and distributed, right? So like they get bought. So I don't know why the major studios also don't take that particular route of like, all right, let's look at something that is new, original, whatever. And then secondarily to that, they never look at, or at least I don't think they look at correctly, why certain things don't do well, right? So like if a movie flops, for instance, there's a bunch of reasons why. Some of it is external to the film itself, right? Like let's say there's a major downturn in the economy and there's less money that people have to just spend outright. Yeah, you're not going to see as many people going to the movie theater. It becomes a luxury and not necessarily like a commonplace good, right? We all have to eat, so we might spend a little bit nicer, extra money to eat nicer foods or whatever the case is. Um, so that'll probably be the thing for that. But otherwise, like, there's really no need for it. Or for instance, if there is a political thing happening and one of your actors is attached to it on the wrong side, who side is the right or wrong side is always dependent upon who you ask 90% of the time. That can impact it, right? Excuse me. I genuinely think something like Captain America did not get seen by a lot of people because of the affiliations of one or two of the actors. So that impacts your movie, right? And but the problem I have is then use that to justify something else. So, oh, the movie didn't do well. Well, it didn't. The reason they said it didn't do well, like, oh, the Captain America is black, isn't the actual reason that it didn't do well. The actual reason it didn't do well is um a comic book movie fatigue and affiliations of certain actors with certain things that people not don't necessarily agree with, right? So like they do silent boycotts. They might not say it out loud, but like, I'm not gonna go see that. Um, So I do think studios are disingenuous a lot of times, and I say that as somebody who wants to work in this industry, so I'm just aware of it. A lot of the times anyway. It doesn't mean good stuff doesn't get made again. Like it's not a one to one. Things get made. But yeah, that's basically what this person was saying, and I love these comments. So I'm just gonna start bypassing. You can read a few. So now I'm just confused about what to do with my working Wolfman spec. Easy, making it a working vampire man. Nosferatu and Sinners eat your heart out, right? Because we had two vampire movies in the past year. So guess what? We're gonna get a lot more of in the next like 2 years. I don't know why I did that. We're gonna get a lot more vampire movies, right? So like it's stuff like that. I want to double down to the point which you described as executives' world of developing and shopping out of creatives, which is pretty fair. Also, the other side of it is an executive is not really a creative, right? So the wants and needs are not entirely one to one. This one is very common that you see a lot of times in the film circles is they're looking for fresh original voices, only not too fresh. Writer needs to have a proven track record and not too original. Got to know what we're buying here and how to sell it. Um, the other side of it is chasing trends seems like a losing game, but yes, perhaps shopping your script around is if it's akin to a recent flop. Perhaps shouldn't be shopping your script around if it's akin to a recent flop. Yes, but like again, why did it flop? Did it flop because the movie was bad, or did it flop because of oversaturation because you're all making the same goddamn content, or did it flop for a completely different reason? So yeah, and this one I've never heard this saying, but I'm going to be using this from now on. So they're asking, oh, wow, there's not, okay. So they're skating to where the puck is, not where it's going to be, which is perfectly said. This one, I think I also love because it is a sports metaphor, right? So like we have leading passes. So instead of going to where the ball is leading to or where the puck is going to be, they're going to where it currently is, meaning you're going to miss your shot, right? So like by the time you stop where the puck is at, you're so far behind of everybody else that it's like now you're just playing catch up, and it's just